Good morning class, Sairam. Today we will start our next chapter, that is thermal properties of matter. So in this chapter, in the first topic we will understand, that is heat, definition of heat and meaning of heat. So heat is a form of energy called thermal energy, and it flows from higher temperature of body to a lower temperature of the body when they are placed in contact. Heat or thermal energy, we can say heat or thermal energy of a body is the sum of kinetic energies of all the constituent particles on account of translational vibrations and rotational motion. Okay, so if in any body we can have so many particles, then these particles either they can vibrate or they can translate from here to there if it is a liquid, or they can rotate also in case of gases. So sum of all types of kinetic energies is called heat or thermal energy. So SI unit of heat energy is what? That is joule. And we have practical unit of heat energy, or you can say CGS system. In that system we have 1 calorie, that is calorie is the unit of heat, and 1 calorie is 4.18 joule. So 1 calorie is what? That is the quantity of heat to require a temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. In this way 1 calorie is defined. Next thing we have that mechanical energy or work, both are equivalent to heat. Okay, work and energy, heat energy, both are equivalent to heat. We have next thing, that is temperature. So temperature is what? Temperature of a body is the degree of hotness or coldness of the body. So a device which is used to measure the temperature is called thermometer. So temperature is what? That provides you that how much hot or how much cold a body is. Okay, that measurement is given by with the help of temperature. Highest possible temperature as achieved in laboratory is 108, while the lowest possible temperature is 10 to 8 Kelvin. Now we have different scales of temperature. So first we have Celsius scale. In this scale of temperature, melting point of ice is considered to be 0 degree Celsius and boiling point is considered as 100 degree Celsius. Okay, and we have provided 100 divisions between 0 degree Celsius and 100 degree Celsius. Then we have next scale, that is Fahrenheit scale. In this scale, the highest point or lowest point first we will talk about, or melting point you can say, that is represented by 32 degree Fahrenheit, and the boiling point of the water is considered as 212 or 211. Okay, it is approximately 212 Fahrenheit, and these are divided into 180 equal parts. Divisions are 180. Then we have Kelvin scale, and in Kelvin scale the melting point is considered as 273 Kelvin and the boiling point of water is considered as 373 Kelvin, and space between them is again divided into 100 divisions. Now we have a relation to convert degree Celsius to Fahrenheit and to Kelvin. So this relation is that degree Celsius value upon 100 division and F temperature minus 32 upon 180 division equal to K temperature minus 273 upon 100 division. Okay, then we have thermometric properties. The property of an object which change with the temperature is called thermometric property. So different thermometric properties are given below. Number 1, pressure of a gas at constant volume. So how your pressure change with temperature? So pressure at final temperature, and it is equal to Pt equal to P naught into 1 plus T by 273. From here we can say that we can calculate that delta T or change in temperature, that is P1 minus P naught upon P100 minus P naught into 100, where Pt is what? That is pressure of a gas at constant volume. Next we have electrical resistance of metals. So resistance of metals at any temperature RT. Okay, at any temperature resistance RT is given by R naught initial resistance into 1 plus alpha T plus beta T square, where this alpha and beta are constant for a given metal. Or if we consider beta is very small, then we can say that final resistance is R naught initial resistance into 1 plus alpha delta T, where alpha is temperature coefficient of resistance and R naught and RT are electrical resistances at 0 degree Celsius and T degree Celsius. From here we can calculate value of alpha. Okay, from this expression we can determine alpha, that will come out R2 minus R1 upon R1 T2 minus R2 T1. Next we have thermal equilibrium. So when there is no transfer of heat between two bodies in contact, then the bodies are called in thermal equilibrium. Means if we have two bodies and if we don't observe any kind of heat transfer, then we can say that both bodies are in thermal equilibrium. Next thing we have zeroth law of thermodynamics. And what is it? If two bodies A and B are separately in thermal equilibrium with third body C, then the body A and B will be in thermal equilibrium with each other. In this manner you can understand, like if we have two bodies A and B, and if A and C are in thermal equilibrium and B and C are in thermal equilibrium, then automatically we will come to the thermal equilibrium. Okay, so this law is called what? This is called zeroth law of thermodynamics. Then we have triple points of water. So what is it? The values of pressure and temperature at which water of matter, that is ice, water and vapor, are called triple point of the water. So it means to say that if we consider any temperature 273 Kelvin and if we consider pressure 0.46 centimeter, this much pressure, then at these values of pressure and temperature, your water will exist in equilibrium with its all three states. Next is specific heat. So the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a given substance by 1 degree Celsius, that amount of heat is called specific heat. Okay, it is denoted by C or S. In SI unit, if we want to calculate its unit, then formula for heat required, that is given by mc delta T. From here you can calculate value of C, that is Q upon m into delta T. Okay, so it will become Q, that is J joule, okay, in CJ system, and mg will be kg and delta T will be degree Celsius. This J, kg and degree Celsius. Similarly we can calculate its dimension also. A specific heat of water is given by this value 4200 joule per kg per degree Celsius. Next we have gases, types of specific heat. So gases have two types of specific heat. First is specific heat capacity at constant volume, and second is specific heat capacity at constant pressure. So it is called CV and second one is called CP, okay, at constant pressure. Specific heat at constant pressure is greater than specific heat at constant volume, that is CP is greater than CV. Okay, so for molar specific heats we have this relation that CP minus CV equal to R. This R is called your gas constant, and this relation, that is CP minus CV equal to R, is called Mayer's formula. And ratio of these two gases is also specific, and this ratio is represented by gamma. The value of gamma is different for different types of gases. Okay, the CP upon CV is denoted by gamma. Value of gamma depends on atomicity of gases, means it is diatomic or triatomic or monoatomic. And as I told you, this amount of heat that is required to raise the temperature of any gas is given by mc delta T. M will be mass of substance, and C will be your specific heat of the substance, and delta T is change in temperature. Next we have water equivalent. So it is the quantity of water whose thermal capacity is same as the heat capacity of the body. It is denoted by W, and W equal to ms, that is heat capacity of the body. Next is called latent heat. The heat energy that is absorbed or released at constant temperature per unit mass for change of state is called latent heat. If we want to change any body, states of any body from solid state to gas state, okay, or directly you can convert it solid to gas for some materials like sodium vapor, etc. But most of the material will convert into liquid first, then it will go to the gas part or in this state. Okay, so that amount of heat which is required for conversion is called latent heat. For water we can say that latent heat of vaporization, that is 540 calorie per gram, and latent heat of fusion, okay, latent heat of fusion, that is 80 calorie per gram. Then we have few states of matter like melting. Melting is what? That is conversion of a solid into liquid state at constant temperature, that is called melting. And evaporation is what? That is conversion of liquid from vapor at all temperature even below boiling point is called evaporation. Next we have boiling. When a liquid is heated gradually at a particular temperature, saturated vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. When vapor pressure of liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure, at that condition we say that our liquid has come to boiled state. Okay, now bubble of vapor pressure rise to the surface of the liquid. This process is called boiling of the liquid. Then we have next state, that is called sublimation. The conversion of solid into vapor state is called sublimation. The next term we have to understand, that is calorimetry. This is the branch of heat transfer that deals with the measured heat. The heat is usually measured in calories or kilocalories. Principle of calorimetry, that is what? When a hot body is mixed with a cold body, then the heat lost by hot body is equal to the heat gained by the cold body, or heat lost equal to heat gain. This is called principle of calorimetry. Then we have next thing, that is called thermal expansion. So expansion is observed in three states, that is expansion of liquid, expansion of gases, and expansion of solids. Okay, here you can see first is solids, then liquid, then gases. So expansion in liquid, there are three kind of expansion in solid, you can say. First one is called linear expansion. So if we observe that there is change in length in any solid, then that thing is called linear expansion. So final length is given by initial length into 1 plus alpha delta t. And then we have coefficient of linear expansion. By using the same formula we can determine alpha. After that we have superficial expansion or expansion in area. So final area is initial area A0 or A1 into 1 plus beta delta t, where beta is temperature coefficient for superficial expansion. Then we have cubical expansion or volumetric expansion. Final volume is given by V2 equal to initial volume V1 into 1 plus gamma delta t, where gamma is again coefficient for thermal expansion for any given volume. And by the same formula we can determine value of gamma, that is delta V upon V into delta t. Then we have relation between beta and alpha, that is beta equal to 2 alpha, and relation between gamma and alpha is gamma equal to 3 alpha. Basically we can say that alpha, beta and gamma are in the ratio of 1, 2 and 3. Then next topic we have anomalous behavior expansion of water. So in this topic we will understand that when temperature of water is increased from 0 degree Celsius, then its volume decreases up to 4 degree Celsius. Then it becomes minimum at 4 degree Celsius and then it increases. Okay, so this is called anomalous behavior of water. And at 4 degree Celsius we measure its density, and that density is considered to be maximum. Then we have expansion of gases. So there are two types of coefficient of expansion in gases. One is volume coefficient and gamma. At constant pressure, the change in volume per unit volume per degree Celsius is called volumetric coefficient or volume coefficient gamma V. So it is given by V2 minus V1 upon V0 T2 minus T1. Basically this expression comes out to be from the same formula, that is V equal to, you can understand in this way, that final volume equal to initial volume into 1 plus gamma delta T. Okay, from here we can say that our gamma will be calculated from using this formula. Then pressure coefficient gamma P, that can be calculated from P2 minus P1 upon P0 into T2 minus T1. Okay, opposite of volume will be pressure. More volume, so lesser pressure. Okay, lesser volume will be more pressure. Then here we have some practical application of expansion. When rails are laid down on the ground, then space is left between end of two rails, because if there we will see when your temperature will increase at some time, then there may be some kind of linear expansion. For that we provide some gap. Now transmission cables are not tightly fixed at the pole, because at the time when your temperature is lower at winter season, there may be some contraction. Okay, next is the iron rim to be put on a cart of the wheel is always slightly smaller diameter than that of wheel. Some important point you can note down, that due to increment in its time period of a pendulum clock, it becomes slow in summer and will lose the time. Loss of time in any given time interval t can be given by delta t equal to half of alpha delta theta into t. So this is all for today. Thank you. Sai Ram.